Zurich. The sun is shining here in Zurich. Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us on this live session of Ask a Recruiter, episode number 6. I'm not used to not being in front of the camera, so as always, I'm joined by my co-host Lucas Zender.
What's up, man? Good morning.
The ultimate rock star recruiter in real and in recruiting. And this time also with Catharina Englert.
Hello.
Who's working together with me at We Recruit. So thanks both of you for joining. You may see it's a bit different. We're not sitting in our home offices or just in front of the computer, right? We're actually welcoming you this time from our brand new office in Zurich. So it's exciting to also be live with you in real life. And thank you everybody for joining. Ask a Recruiter is a series that me and Lucas have been doing for some time now. Different topics around recruitment, helping either recruiters and the HR industry or for candidates, helping them in their journeys of finding jobs, finding the right recruiters, tips and advice. Today, our topic, keep your balance. So this is all around how we keep our balance, how you keep your balance around the stress and I guess mental health conversations that we have in recruitment and HR. We're going to be talking a lot from our experiences, what we do, sharing with you. We have some questions as well. Never forget, it's a live session. So in an ideal world, you're sharing your questions with us and we'll be answering these questions. I have a few questions also that we've received from people that couldn't join just now. Yeah, I guess we'll be jumping into it. Just to say as well, this time I'm not in control of the technology. We have our geek in the background, Catharina.
Where is she?
Yeah, exactly. I think
Show your face.
Yeah, she's hiding. We can see her camera. She's hiding. I'm sure she'll be jumping in. She'll let us know when there's questions from you. She'll be engaging with you in the comments. Let us know you're watching. Let us know you can hear and see us all right. And otherwise, I guess we jump into it, right? Absolutely.
Let's do it.
So, Catharina, can you bring in the first question? There we go. So, yeah, to bring us into the topic, keeping a balance. I mean, why is it so important to keep a balance? I'm not sure who would like to go first. Maybe ladies first.
Yeah, ladies first.
Yeah, exactly.
But not that it's like always like this.
No, don't worry. I'll pick on Lucas as well.
Yeah, why is it so important for me to keep in balance? I realized that when I keep in balance, then first of all, what does it mean for me? That I feel healthy, like keeping in balance of body, mind, and soul. This is very important for me. And when I am like in balance with everything, I realize I can be more successful in my job. I can focus better. I can prioritize better, and also in my private life. Of course, I'm not only working. I'm not working a lot, but surprise, surprise. I also have a private life, and especially there, that I really feel good. And I always believe what you feel inside, this is what you express outside. And when I'm not happy with myself, or when I feel fat, or when I feel struggled inside, then you also show it to the world outside. And it has an effect. So for me, it's important to keep in balance, that I can be more successful. Yeah.
Reflecting the things you're doing. Okay. Yeah. What about you, Lucas?
Hey, balance. I think it's a big word, and it's a very important word. Maybe everything in life is balance. Maybe this is what life is about.
Yeah.
At the end,
Searching for balance.
Searching for the balance.
Yeah.
Contrasts, day and night, whatsoever. I think it's super important, the balance in life, in everything. If you do, let's say, very tough sports like martial arts or running or what do I know, like weightlifting and stuff, you always need time to recover for your body. And the same is with working. If you work hard and long hours, you might reach far, you might come further in your career and everything is nice. You might even make a lot of money, but then maybe you burn out one day because you missed the chance to keep the balance. So it's a huge topic, and I think it's super important for every one of us to think about it and talk about it.
And it's not easy, right? I mean, this is also what we have to say. I think we all three of us it's not an easy way to find your balance.
I think you always have moments, or at least I do have moments in your weeks or months or times in the year. I guess I call it checking yourself, where you need to kind of say to yourself, hold on a second, you know, something's not right here. You need to listen to yourself, to your body, and kind of say, okay, I need to actively do something about this. I can't just kind of keep in this flow right now.
Yes.
And even this you have to learn.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, I didn't wake up, or I was not born feeling how I'm in balance.
Mm-hmm.
Also, things happened in my life that I maybe felt it in a hard way, that I'm not in balance.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good thing from time to time if you have, you know, like that moment where you ask yourself, hey, what's going on with me now? What am I doing now? How am I feeling now? And then maybe ask yourself, if I keep doing everything like I'm doing now, where will I be in a year?
Yeah.
And then you will see some good aspects, but maybe also some bad aspects.
Yeah.
That if you say like, okay, if I keep chain smoking like 2 packs of cigarettes, maybe I will know a lot of people because I'm always standing outside and I'm a social person, but maybe also I'm going to die because of cancer, you know? So maybe ask yourself, okay, if I keep doing what I'm doing, where will I be in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years? Maybe that's a good question.
Yeah. No, I think you both covered quite a bit about it. I think from my side, what Catharina said, you know, I think balance for me is about, you know, being in a good place and being the best in my work, in my personal life, you know, as a friend, as a parent, as a partner, as a boss. You know, I think all of these things kind of come together. And yeah, I think that it's about being able to really be happy and perform, and I think that's what it comes down to for me. This kind of balance about being my best in all of the areas that I want, that I prioritize. What my priorities are not the same for everyone else, but in those elements, that's what balance means to me. That I can be my best in the areas that I want to be. Okay. Just a quick mic check. I don't know, Catharina, and if anyone in the chat has or comments has mentioned about the volume, and if everyone can hear us okay. Hopefully, in case you can't, please just let us know in the comments, and Catharina will give us a message to turn the volume up. Great. Well, let's jump into the next question. So, what are your challenges when you do this job? It's not an easy job. Being a recruiter, there's a lot of things to juggle, a lot of things to do, a lot of pressures, both intrinsically and externally. Lucas, what are your biggest challenges in the job?
Definitely to be structured. That's a big challenge because there's many things happening. There's a lot of people that you are having conversations with all the time, and really keep things structured, and also maybe keep a good distance, like with the candidates, for example, like because you know a lot about their lives, like they're telling you stuff about their families and about their plans, about their future, and so on, their ambitions. Sometimes it's very personal, and you kind of turn into, you know, like a professional friend or something. And always, I think it's a huge challenge to keep the distance in a good way. So let them come close, but not too close, and I think that's also a big challenge of our job.
Yeah, because we like the people we're speaking to.
Yes.
We become engaged in their journey, in what they're doing. We want to help, and you can become obviously quite close. Yeah.
Very interesting, I have to say. I totally agree, 100%. When I was thinking about the question, my biggest challenge is that I stop working because I feel with this job I can work day and night. I can just continue. There's always a job to do, to reaching out to new candidates. I always want to find the perfect match. I can extend my network. I always being in contact, and it takes a lot of time. And especially with this home office situation, I really felt, okay, I need to stop. I think everybody knows now with this home office situation, you were getting out of bed, almost falling into the home office, and then you were sitting there at the computer and then really to say, okay, now it's finished, or we take a break. For me, this was is the biggest challenge. It was in the past, and it is now even more, really to take a break and really finish. And I also work 80%, so that means also stop working.
To allow yourself to stop working. I think that's challenging. People who are really passionate and enjoy recruitment do that for a reason, right? And we're so engaged with the processes that we have with our candidates, with our role, with the content we're putting out there, helping people. It's sometimes hard to make yourself stop, and I think that can be for sure one of the challenges.
It's true. Yeah. This is such a good point. My business phone. I have a private phone and I have a business phone. And I call my business phone, I call it the fun phone.
The fun phone?
Yeah, because every time I look at it, there's something good on it. And because it's just because I don't really work, I really like what I'm doing. And this is exactly what you guys told. It's kind of dangerous or kind of difficult to keep that balance, because our work is so involving, and at the end, it's so much fun. So
it is.
You really have to have a line.
Set some boundaries. We'll talk about that. I'm sure that's going to come up a little bit later as well.
But what's your challenge? Did you want to add something, Lee?
I think probably similar to yourselves. I think prioritizing is always a challenge, but I think after the years that I've been doing the job, I like to think I'm good at it. I think one of my biggest challenges, I would say, is really remembering everything. I think it's okay when you have these kind of moments where things are a bit more stable, a bit more relaxed. You don't have too many processes or candidates interviewing that it's out of control. I remember back to January, I had I think the last 2 weeks of January, I
was crazy.
I had 18 candidates in interviews, and I was forgetting to call somebody to get feedback after their interview, because I was just lost. And I think that's one of the challenges. And please, if someone has a good idea in the comments, please let me know. I really struggle at times with kind of managing everything. We use Bullhorn, which is the world's #1 CRM, but yet still, that I feel like even setting tasks and things, there's always things that you forget to do, or that get missing, or in my case, I get quite easily distracted. Maybe you'd agree.
Such a nice office.
Yeah, nice new office. But then there's
such nice people. It's not a shame, really.
No, but maybe I have an idea for a piece of content, or for this, or I see a post, and I get distracted. And even if there's a task there, so I guess managing the workload, making sure I don't forget things. I'm not the youngest anymore. You can tell by the hair.
It's okay.
So
let's move on with the next
exactly. So so let us know what you struggle with, and let us know if you have some questions as well. We'd love to answer them. We've got a few more as well. So Catharina, let's see what we have next. Why do so many companies and managers not take mental health seriously, or get it wrong? Obviously, we can talk from our experience. We'd love to hear what the viewers watching think. What do you think? You'd like to go first? Why do you think so many get it wrong?
You go first.
I go first. Okay.
I hope
it's about time. It's about time.
Okay. Damn it.
Goes first.
So, it depends. I think the awareness around mental health, mental well-being, stress in general in the workplace, I think, is something that is so far behind many other areas of attention. I think that there's still, and I'm talking obviously especially for Switzerland where we are, I still think there's a massive stigma around it. That if you're struggling from mental stress and these things, that it's perceived as a sign of weakness.
Yes, it is.
That even when companies have HR department that preaches and can support you, I think employees struggle to think that conversation would be confidential, that they can go to a HR manager or to their manager and have a conversation and say, listen, I'm struggling,
Yes.
So I think that's still a huge topic. And Yeah, I think that also managers. I was speaking to somebody earlier this morning. In recruitment, in agency recruitment, a manager becomes a manager because they're the top performer, because they make the most billing. There's very few companies that will sit there and say, okay, you did a great job, Lucas. You were the top performer last year, but Catharina is clearly the better leader, so we're going to promote her above you. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in our business. And at the same time, these people have no experience as a manager, no training, and so we expect somebody to move into a managing position with perhaps not the right competence, with no training, and then we expect that all to work out hunky-dory. I mean, it's just not the reality, in my opinion. And I think that leads to people getting it wrong. I think these two things, from the company and from managers. But what do you two think?
Yeah, I agree what you said. I think we should be aware of it more, definitely. And why do companies and managers don't take it so seriously is because they don't take time for it. I guess maybe it's not important for them. But especially now with this home office situation in the last 2 years, I think it became more and more. And maybe then also the managers or the head of managers or whoever, they struggled a little bit. And hopefully it will take more, it will come more in the focus. And I think that's why it's always good, in my opinion, that we speak about it. That's why we announce it, we do a live session about it, that other people also come and they do blogs or whatever. So I believe when more people speak about it, then also other people will say, actually, I also have a problem. And it's not bad. And I can also say it from my perspective. In the past, in my last job, I also had my struggles. I was working, and I never accepted to say, this is maybe too much. And now, when we work together, I can even say, I struggle, and then we will speak about it. What do I do? When I struggle or to go back to my balance, this is totally okay. We are all human beings.
Absolutely. What do you think, Lucas? Something to add there?
Yeah, maybe it's also hard to see the cues. It's difficult, because it's not so visible. Like a person can feel very bad, but you just don't see it. And maybe you only see the person like 30 minutes sitting at her or his desk, and that's it. And you say, hi, good morning, how are you? Yes, I'm good. Okay, goodbye. And then you just don't know. And then people, fall apart. And then you see it when it's too late. When he had, like a nervous breakdown or something. And also home office, as you have said it before, I think it has worsened the situation because it has isolated people. It has kind of locked people into, like their home, and sometimes they have a difficult situation at home with their families and stuff, and they couldn't escape anymore. Sometimes work is good for that because you can go to the office and then you have a little break of your, maybe stressful personal life whatsoever. And it has worsened the situation. I think that's also a big point because it's very hard to see the cues. It's not a person sneezing or coughing or anything. You just don't see it, and you see it when it's too late. And sometimes managers are just lacking the competence of recognizing these cues. It's something they have never learned, and I think that's also a problem.
Just to add to that, Catharina, can you put the question back up? It's just if somebody joins in the middle of what we're saying, just that they know what the topic is about. But one thing I'd like to add to that as well, I saw in the last week, even I think it was, a video from Simon Sinek, and I think many people know Simon Sinek, and he was talking about, I think, about stress and mental health, and was talking about how managers communicate with people, and that it's not human enough, that we're not looking after the individuals. And I think that one of the things he said, which really I thought was a fantastic example in this case, let's say a manager goes in, or a CEO, MD, whatever, goes into the office of a manager and turns around to him and says, listen, this is a terrible quarter, we're behind the numbers, you better get it in check. What are you doing now? What are you changing to make it better? What's your plan? Right? And all too often, this is kind of the reality of the situation, especially in sales. People come in, you've not hit your numbers, what's going on? And what Simon said as well, imagine if that manager goes into the room and says, hey, I see the numbers in this quarter are actually really behind, and yeah, the team is struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like just these two completely different ways of going about things, and honestly, how are you going to react better as an individual? You know, to somebody who's there saying, "Are you okay? How can I help you? What can we do to turn this around? What do you need?" You know, and I think this goes a long way when we talk about mental health and we talk about how managers can deal with individuals that are not performing. You know, that really resonated with me. At least.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm always in contact with candidates and clients in the HR area, and what I realize is that also when I think about my meetings, everything is now via remote, online. So then I arrange a meeting to speak to somebody because I have an issue. I want to talk about something. I have a problem. And I don't have these coffee breaks anymore that I walk around and I meet somebody at the door. Oh, yeah, how are you doing? What did you do last weekend? Somehow this social gap is missing. And that's why, I mean, before this event we have here, we did a coffee talk with She Recruits, with this group, with this community. And this is purely about it, just to say, hey guys, recruiting ladies, what about your personal situation? How do you feel? What are you missing? And I think these opportunities also, I think managers should keep this in mind to say, I just gonna make a coffee chat with my team and not only going about agenda A, B, C, D, E, sondern also to discuss how do you feel. As you said, it's changed the whole thing. We missed this part.
I can see maybe, Catharina, if you can bring up or add the comment quickly from Danilo. I think he said the same thing as well. You know, basically asking the question, how are you? And in a serious way to mean it, to be genuine. There you go. Thanks, Danilo, for the comment as well. So I think to be authentic, to ask the questions, to look up to people. But this is just such a small drop in the ocean. I think it's very easy to say. The reality is then the employee going to be honest? Are they going to say, well, actually, I'm having a shit day?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I also want to add something because I had situations in the past that I arranged a call with a candidate or with a client, and then we would try to find an appointment, a date, and then they're like, yeah, you know, I cannot do it because I have the kid at home. I have to watch the kid. It's like, I cannot concentrate. And I always say, easy peasy. We all have the same situation. Then take your kid on your lap. We're gonna stop if somebody's coming. I also had the situation that I am in home office. The ring was belling. The ring was belling.
The bell was ringing.
The bell was ringing. The bell was ringing, and I had to stop the call. I mean, sorry, this is all the situation. We are all in home office, so just be more easy, and it shows the personal life. As we said, we see more behind the, how do you say, mask?
Yeah, behind the mask, behind the scenes. I guess you were saying in English.
Just take it easy.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Alrighty. Let's move on to the next one. So, why isn't recruitment a 9 to 5? Can it be?
Well, you're looking at me.
Is it a 9 to 5 for you?
For me, it's not.
Yeah.
I think it's a personal decision.
Absolutely.
I would not say that one is better than the other. For me, it's not. I work a lot. I have calls over the weekend. I have calls in the evening. I don't care. I like it. Maybe my girlfriend doesn't. She would answer the question a bit differently, but I like it. And I also have lots of clients or candidates who cannot talk to me during the working hours.
Yeah.
But I work together with my colleagues that work like more strictly 9 to 5. And I absolutely see that point, and I absolutely respect it, and I think it's a good thing. And I think you can easily make it a 7-Eleven job.
24/7.
But you don't have to. If you arrange yourself and you do it nicely with your structure and everything, you can set up the things that you can do at 9 to 5.
But you also have to have an employer and a boss that respects that too.
Exactly.
Which is often one of the challenges, especially in maybe some of the larger corporations that is out there in recruitment. Yeah.
And as we see, I mean, we are in contact most of the time with candidates. They have a job, they still have a job, and then they are looking for a new job. So I understand they cannot be available sometimes during 9 to 5. So you have to, I think I have to be flexible. If I want to even get these candidates, I can also say no, but then maybe I don't reach the top match.
Yeah. There's a comment coming from Monica. Maybe Catharina, you can just bring that into the thing. So Monica said about the managers. I always refer to a time when he was a normal collaborator and challenge him to remember his requests to be valid and notice with his needs. Sometimes works, not always. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Monica, for sharing. I think about the 9 to 5. I think the last thing is that I think it is what Lucas said. It's about setting boundaries. You know, I didn't set up my company to work 12 hours a day. On the contrary, I was working probably 60 hours a week and said, I want to have a better work-life balance. I want to have more time for my family, for my wife, for my sport, for other things as well. I became the coach of my son's football team. Like there was different things that decision led to. One thing I would say, and it's very important with regards to mental health and stress as well, the way that I do it with the 9 to 5, generally after 6 o'clock, I don't look at my emails. Let me tell you why. After 6 o'clock, if a great bit of news comes in, then you are going to be really happy to see it. It's going to make your evening. You can celebrate, you know, there's a placement, whatever it may be. If there's a bad bit of news, that's going to piss you off for the rest of the evening, potentially affect your sleep because maybe it's going in your mind. And a bad piece of news can always wait to when you wake up the next morning. So, you know, in the whole thing of keeping balance, keeping healthy, one of the things that I had to learn over the years is to kind of set myself a time. You know, maybe it might be 7 o'clock or whatever, but set myself a time. I'm not going to check my work things after that time. Now is my time to be home, to be present. Good news can wait till tomorrow, and bad news I do not want to see. There's been too many times the bad news happened, and a candidate cancels an interview, they decline an offer, whatever it may be. It can wait till the morning. So good bit of advice there, or at least I think so.
Yeah, I agree.
That you also like really plan your, you know, episodes of doing nothing, being with the family, whatever. It's part of the structure.
Exactly.
That you have that time.
Boundaries.
Exactly.
But of course, like you know, we have candidates that can't speak during the day. So there's, of course, times where I have a call at 8 o'clock at night, even, or on a weekend. But you know, that's what we do as being service oriented. But let's say my general rule of thumb is like that. Yeah. Perfect. All right. Feel free to add your views, your feedback, and especially your questions in the comments. We'd love to hear what you have. And I think we've also got a couple of questions, Catharina, from a manager who sent them to me. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to join the last session, but said, I'd love to hear your feedback on these questions, or to hear the team's feedback. Maybe Catharina, you can bring up one of these last two. Okay. What are your techniques for preventing and dealing with stress?
Especially during the home office situation the last 2 years, I try to find my morning routine. And usually I wake up and I start my day with stretching, yoga, or I go out for a walk. I call it morning walk, just to have time for myself. And even now my partner is at home. He also does home office. I need this time for myself. He can have his breakfast by himself. I just need my time. It's my me time. Sometimes I also meditate, especially now with this nice weather. I sit outside and I have my coffee. And that I really, as Lucas said before, I like to focus on what I do. When I work, then I work. When I, for example, speak with a friend during the day, then I really take time. I go out of the home office and I speak with my friend. I don't try to do everything in parallel. And I realized that this is really preventing me from stress, that I also take off of this digital stuff everywhere, that I get out and take a break. This is for me. And also exercise. For me, this helps if I'm walking. I can also run. I love to ride the bike, just to use the body.
It's interesting, the comment of Victoria on breathing sessions. I think that's very good and effective. Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
I once watched a YouTube video.
Thanks, Vicky.
Where you you really purposely breathe in like 4 seconds and then breathe in breathe out for 4 seconds and do this like in a very, a steady way. And this really like triggers something within your brain, like hormones are getting released and stuff, and then you just can. And I tried it for myself, and it really works super, super well. It's a very basic, easy breathing exercise, but if I'm a bit nervous about a phone call or something, then I do that on purpose, and it really, really helps me. Like 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. Do that maybe 10 times or even fewer times, and it really helps. It's really good. Maybe this connects to Victoria's tip.
Maybe we should do breathing after lunch. I know. I think for me it's also kind of prevention is around building workouts and exercise into my week. Again, that's something that works for me. I really like HIIT workouts. I try to do them 2 to 3 times a week, as well as playing football. So that's being self-employed and managing my own business. That's definitely something that not only helps me de-stress, but actually gives me a lot of energy. I think when I was younger, I probably didn't need that. I was too into junk food and having a good time. But definitely as I've got a bit...
Keeping the balance rightly.
Yeah, exactly. I'm keeping the balance, for sure.
Can I see the question again?
About
Catharina?
Techniques for... I think she's deleted it. Techniques for preventing and managing stress.
Yeah, I have another one that I use myself personally. Oh, thanks, Catharina. Thank you very much.
She saved it.
Thank you. That I use for myself, and I try to be very rational about it, because mostly stress has a very large emotional aspect to it. It's coming with big emotions, maybe anger or sadness or confusion or whatsoever. And then one is really caught up with that emotion and doesn't really see like a clear picture because of all of the emotions. And for me, it's like a storm sometimes, like an inner storm, and then I really don't see clearly anymore. And then it really helps me also with stress to be very rational about it. So what I did when I had a very stressful time at my job, I was writing down every day what I have learned, what went wrong and what went right, like the successes, the losses, or like the fuck ups, and then what I have learned. And this really helped me because I could rationalize my situation and I could get rid of the emotions. And I think this is a very good way to approach stress, to really think about, okay, what's the situation? Write it down. What can I do? What are my options? How can I act? Maybe write down 3, 4, 5 options. This really helped me all the time. I can highly recommend doing that.
I mean, you say something very important, Lucas. It means that you realize it, that you wrote down something. That means that you really have to listen to your body. And I think this is, for me, nowadays, I am better. But for me, this is the biggest learning in life, to really listen to your body. I think we all know that, for example, when I have a lot lot of stress, then my eye is itching. It's moving. Nobody sees it from outside. Twitches. But I see it. I feel it from inside, and it's like, what's going on? And then I know it's too much stress. And then really to say, okay, I realize it, and now I have to step one step back and do something about it, because we all know it can happen. Something. The body talks to us, and when we don't realize it, whatever, maybe other people get stomachache or have to throw up or whatever, cannot eat something, then you're gonna like outside that's going to decide for you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, again, either you listen to your body or your body will make you listen.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly.
You know, I mean, I've had times in my career, and again, I think that's the thing as well. You know, let's say the challenges that we have around mental well-being, or you know, burnout, stress, too much work, being overwhelmed. You know, it doesn't matter what label it is that we give it. I think it doesn't have to be to do with work. You have people who are working, you know, working like crazy, but it's actually the home life or other things, or other stresses which come into it. So it's not always or only about work. And you know, I've had situations in the past myself where literally my body said to me, stop. And I didn't listen. I didn't know how to listen. And in that time, I was maybe too young, too naive, too much of a stigma of saying, yeah, you know, just kind of keep on pushing through. It will work itself out, until my body really, you know, hit me. And I think since that time, I've learned to listen. So, you know, maybe it's something that when you're a 20-something, it's less important. But yeah, at one point, your body will make you listen. And sorry, I was laughing before because there was a bit of in the comments talking about the censoring of the thing. Megan was stressed out. It was affecting her mental health, the censoring of the video. So hopefully
I
it's
hope
okay.
now it's okay, Megan.
Yeah, exactly. But I get it. We weren't censored. Perfect. Let's jump on to the next question. As the person who is always in a good mood, are you always in a good mood?
My answer is ask my partner, Nectarius. I would say I'm always, most of the time, in a good mood. If I'm not, it's really in my private life that when I feel stressed in the job, that he gets a lot of it.
Lucky him. I'd rather he gets it than me in the office, you know.
Yeah, but I think in a most of the time I'm in a good mood. What did you say? Yeah, I had like it was interesting. I had somebody who was asking me for like an interview, and I had to fill out the question, and what describes me in 3 words or something. And then he said,
or what's unique about you?
What's unique about? And you said Miss Positive.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Absolutely. But I think also, you know, what we put out content-wise is, you know, it's the Facebook or Insta effect. We're always putting out positivity, good vibes, you know, us in a good mood, because that's where we're at in that moment. It doesn't mean that we, you know, don't finish the session, have a bad call with a client, a candidate, a loved one, and grumpy and pissed off about it afterwards. So, yeah.
Are you always in a good mood?
I try to be, yeah. I think a good mood is, for me, it's almost like something that is heilig, sacred.
Yeah, holy.
Sacred.
Holy, sacred,
yeah. I really value a good mood because I know it's good for everything. It's good for work. It's good for social life. It's good for relationships. It's good for oneself. It's just such an important thing to be in a good mood. So I really purposely try to keep my good mood at all times. I really focus on it. Yeah,
cool.
It's a huge topic, I think. Yeah.
What do you do? Is there like a secret to smile?
Yeah, sometimes I smile. Yeah, sometimes I really force myself to see the good things now, even though everything is shit. And it's as I said, just in every situation, I really try to have a good mood. Because it will help me out. My good mood will help me out, even if the situation is difficult. And I think it's a very good habit to focus on a good mood. Like try to focus on it like as much as we can. Yeah.
It's almost like fake it till you make it.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know if you've ever seen the TED Talks, fake
Yeah.
it till you make it. Yeah.
So the problem that many people have with that is that they say that you are like a hypocrite.
Mhm.
You don't you are not serious about it,
Mhm.
and I think that's wrong. I think it's not true.
Mhm.
It's fake it till you make it. It's
Mhm.
really, I think it's also our duty to be in a good mood, because we are social beings. We're working together, talking to one another. We have social situations, interactions every day. I think it's our duty to be nice to each other.
And
So I think it's super important to have a good mood.
And if not, do something to put yourself in a good mood. I think it was Megan who said to me this week when we were talking about this topic, to say, do something to make yourself smile.
Yeah.
But like actively think about, okay, what can I do that's going to make me smile right now, make me a bit happier, and do it one step at a time. So.
And I also had the situation that people, because I've been asked this question before, and then they said, yeah, you are living in your pink bubble. I was thinking about it, and yes, I love it. I love it to live in my pink bubble. I love it. And it's nice. I invite everybody. Join me.
We're privileged to join in sometimes. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, yeah. So this was a question from a local manager, and she asked, how can she manage and take disappointments from candidates, clients, whatever, not too personally, not to feel too attached. I mean, we've all been there. You build this relational rapport with a candidate, with a client. They let you down. Circumstances let you down. They change their mind. They're not transparent. Different things. How do you deal with that disappointment? How do you detach yourself from that disappointment? Because it's emotional. It's connected to your success. It's connected to perhaps financial bonuses and things like that. By making a placement, it's connected to that satisfaction of your client. There's so many elements around it. What advice would you give her?
I would also write it down. I would write down the situation. Like, what did the candidate do that got me emotional and got me disappointed? What did he do, or what did he not do? And then I would write down what my options are to act now. How can I react to this now? Can I maybe text him again, call him up? Can I ask somebody for support or whatsoever? I would write down all the options. Then I would pick like the best one, and I would do it. And if nothing helps, then I can say, okay, it doesn't work with this guy. It will not lead to anywhere like productive. Then I will feel good because I rationally have decided to, break up the contact, let's say, or to go on with my life. And it gives me a good feeling then, because I have made a decision.
I think one thing I would add, because I mean, you're talking about when you're in the situation. I think if you're talking about it retrospectively, so looking afterwards as well, I think you have to ask yourself the question: did I have some control and influence over the outcome? Right? Was there something that I could have done to bring it to a different outcome? If the answer is no, and simply that person was not being transparent with you, they had other priorities, whatever it might be, then I think you have to learn to be able to distance yourself from it and just say, okay, this is what happened, but I did everything right in my control. If I do, trust the process. If I do everything right the next time round, it will work out. And on the flip side, if you look at it and say, okay, what could I have done differently in that situation? Did I have options? What's my learning from this? And really take that as a learning. I think if you can learn from it, you can maybe take a little bit of the emotion away from it. But I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you both said very good things, and I agree 100% to it, that you write it down or that you think about it. But sometimes for me, I'm too emotional about this moment that for me, the best way, because it says, how can I manage it? I need to speak to somebody about it. Of course, my partner, he listens to everything. He's very important that I speak to him. but also about the business. When, let's say, I have a process and I'm very disappointed, then we speak, or I speak with Catharina, to really to have somebody who I trust, and then he sees it from outside. He's no emotional attached how I am, like furious, and then also take a break. Here we are again. Mental health, take a break, because sometimes maybe I feel like, now I want to go back to this person immediately. No, take a break, sleep about it, and then on the next day, okay, emotions are calmed down, then take the next step. And this is also what we both have in common, that we always like to be honest, we like to be transparent, and even if I'm very disappointed with one client or one candidate for the job, I reach out to them, because it makes me feel better when I just speak, and then I think I have a good communication. I can just say it in a nice way, that maybe this reaction or this would happen, it was not nice, and then for me it's fine. I'm never gonna delete somebody without speaking to somebody. It's not my style.
Yeah, it's tough, we're dealing with people, and people change their mind, things happen. Megan came in as well. I think she was talking about being in a good mood as well, coming back to the previous question, saying what helped her is not to feel bad on the days that she's not good, because they're part of feeling good, or definitely, but what also helping is not to feel bad on the days that I'm not good. So basically, I think what Megan's saying there is kind of not to give yourself a hard time on the days where you're not feeling so good. Allow yourself to have a bad day.
Is it OCD, Megan?
Yeah, this is OCD, Megan. That we had to change the camera.
I have the same problem.
Yeah. No, I think that's also true, right? You need to allow yourself that room to have a bad day.
Yes.
To have an off day, an off week. Be kind to yourself. You can't expect yourself to be in a good mood every single day.
Yes, you're not a robot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Next question, please, Catharina. Thank you. I see her dancing in the background somewhere. This was another one from a manager locally, a great one as well. How can I train myself or my rookies in regards to resilience to stress? So how can I train myself to be more resilient? How can I coach and train my rookies?
I think this is one you said before when you were speaking about this person, like the coach. Can you say the name again?
Simon Sinek.
Exactly.
Okay.
This one.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know him before. So just what you said, what he mentioned, to ask the person, how do you feel? It's such an easy question, and it has such a big effect. So when you see that somebody's in stress, or when I see that somebody is sad or even happy, I want to know, why do you feel like this? So just when you can share it, the situation or the moment, then it takes out this stress, I guess. I mean, I feel better when you ask me. Or when you ask me. Yeah.
What about you, Lucas?
Well, I'm going to repeat myself. I would write it down. I would give it words. I would articulate it. It really helps. And it gives you the distance. Like, also when you go to a friend or your partner and you tell him about the situation that is stressful for you, this is also, you're looking for distance. Distance from the emotions, distance from the situation. And this is what writing does. And you don't have to journal every day and write down everything. It's not supposed to be a diary, but it just helps through difficult times. And as I said before, it's good. Like a very easy way to do it is to write down, like after a working day or whatever, like what was successful today, what gave me joy, what was not successful, what were fuck ups, losses, and then last point, what did I learn today? And if you do this every day for 1 month, you will have a great difference in the positive way, and I can highly recommend it.
Do you write it down by hand or do you type it?
It doesn't matter. Whatever.
What do you do? I'm just curious. Sorry. If you want to share.
Now I type it. I use notes on my mobile phone, but earlier I used a little book, like a Moleskine book with the empty pages where you can write. It's both work.
Thank you.
I think it's actually a really hard question. When I received the question, I thought, "Wow, that's fantastic." I wish I had the perfect answer to it. I think it's quite individual as well. I'd love to hear from people maybe watching, what their advice would be as well. I think in regards to training your team, I think part of that is about being a good role model. Because what do they look? What is your team? The juniors, the rookies. What do they do when you're stressed out? They're observing you. They're seeing how do you react to it. So I think that by leading by example, now that could be what we talked about in regards to setting boundaries. I mean, I'm a big advocate for work-life balance. Catharina said before she doesn't work on a Friday. I don't send her emails on a Friday. I schedule an email that I write on a Friday to be received on a Monday. I'm not putting in, let's say, extra stress or being somebody who adds stress to the situation. But resilience, I think, is built up from experience. It's built up from wisdom or knowledge. That's why the expression is kind of hindsight is 20/20, or you're always wiser after the effect. So I think that we all naturally need to go through stress to build up our resilience to stress. But I think how you deal with stress is going to be a great example to teaching your team. So comes back to trusting the process, doing the right things most of the time, that the outcome is going to be a positive one. And yeah, I don't know. Those are certainly the first things that come to my mind.
Mm-hmm. I have another one. Mm-hmm. Resist the first impulse.
Mm-hmm.
Like when a stressful situation comes up, you get an email that annoys you or pisses you off, or a phone call or whatsoever. A situation happens. Resist the first impulse. Mm-hmm. It has helped me 1,374 times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's, after my daughter was born, even so 10 years ago, when she was a crybaby. The definition of that is kind of crying for about 3 hours a day without being able to calm her down. And we went kind of personally through a very, very hard time. And at the same time, I was doing the recruitment job. I was leading a team. I was still one of the top billers, juggling and trying to keep a balance to everything. And it was a really hard time for us personally. And I think that probably the weight of everything that I was dealing with, at home, and there was other things happening there, was just too much for me. And this is what I said earlier in the chat. This is the point where I kept on going and wasn't listening to my body. And at some point, I hit that wall. I hit that wall of just, I couldn't see the light of day. I had, it's really hard to kind of explain that feeling. But I remember I needed to, there was a problem with the Wi-Fi and I needed to call Cablecom. And in that moment, the thought of calling Cablecom to sort that problem out was so overwhelming for me, because I just could not have that extra piece on top. Just that one task. I was so
loaded,
so done.
Yeah,
so done. And following that, I went through a period of time of one of the most challenging moments of my life, to try to kind of learn how to deal with everything that was going on, to listen to my body, to find a balance, to rebalance myself, to try and get some sleep. I remember sleeping in my lunch breaks at work. So I would literally sleep for 55 minutes and spend 5 minutes eating a sandwich. Like that was my lunch breaks at those times. And I think what I learned from that is to respect more how my body is feeling, to set boundaries for me, to make sure I don't allow myself to go into that space of kind of this overwhelming feeling, this of burnt out, of whatever you want to call it. And I think that because I went through that experience, I believe that I am better equipped now to deal with my levels of stress, to deal with my emotions and feelings and these things than what I was before.
Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. Hopefully it helps, and I think also as a leader previously, it allowed by me being transparent as well, it allowed other people, and I think this is what you underestimate, is that by letting other people know that you've also had times in your life where you've struggled and felt burnt out or whatever else it may be, it allows other people to open up to you and say, hey, actually, I'm having a really hard time now as well, or I've been through that hard time. I had one of the most blessed moments I had as a manager is one of the managers came to me and said, listen, I want to tell you something. I'm actually coming off antidepressants. And the reason I'm telling you is because I trust you so much, and because it's relieving for me to be able to tell you that. And I was so honored that they trusted me so much as their manager, and knew that I wouldn't judge them for it as well. And that went, and that I could allow them to have a better space professionally to deal with that extremely hard situation that they were going through. And I think only by talking about it and sharing with people and being really genuinely there to help people can you facilitate something like that. And I'm sure there'll be people out there who listen to this and maybe think, okay, he's weak, he's this, he's that, making their stigmas or impressions. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
If you genuinely listen to people.
I agree, Victoria.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Respect your body, mind, you'll be more efficient, absolutely, and other people around you. Yeah. Anything else either of you two want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I had my biggest challenge in life, I would say, 2017 or 2018 when I had my last job, and I also had a private difficult situation. And we are talking about balance, everything in balance. I didn't know what it means in the past so well. So what I did, I quit my relationship, I quit my job, I quit my apartment, I quit everything, and I packed everything in a box, and then I went for travels. So I went from working 100%, and then I was sitting in the bushes somewhere doing nothing, and really trying to find to myself. And at this time, I also did this tattoo. It's a heart. Where do you see it? I'm not organized here. It's a heart.
Okay.
That I really called this trip going back to my heart, and I had to learn it in my way, from like very hard way, from really going from 100% to 0. But I'm very proud of it that I did it. At least I did it, and now I really know what both sides mean. And when I came back, I met Lee, or we met again, and we decided to work together. And now I really know what it means to keep in balance. And I don't want to go back to sitting in the bushes doing nothing, and I don't want to go back to the situation and working crazy. So really keeping it in balance. So work-life balance, I know what it means, and it's very important.
Yeah.
Eat, pray, and love. Yes, Victoria. I agree. Lucas, would you like to add something?
Well, thanks for sharing your stories. I once had a very difficult time in my life as well, but it was not because of the job, it was because of personal reasons. Like 2 people that were very close to me got very sick. And like everything fell together at that moment. I think we all know that kinds of situations where like everything is horrible. Like, and I had many issues in my life that were very horrible, and it started with those 2 people getting sick. And what I can say looking back is this time has really helped me. It was horrible, but it has really helped me to be the very rational person I am today, because it made me, because I really felt out of control, like helpless. And I had to regain the control in my life, to control my environment and the stuff I'm doing and so on. I really had to learn that. It was a school of life moment. And that was very good for me. It was a good experience, although the circumstances were horrible and very stressful. It was very stressful for me that time. But it made me what I am today, and I'm very grateful for it.
No, I think I remember I remember as well, and thanks for sharing that with us, because I think, you know, we've all been through stuff, but I think just we don't vocalize it, but I think that going through things, you know, coming back to the question we had before about how do I teach my team to manage stress and things like that, I think unfortunately we have to go through things to be where we need to be, and to be the person that we need to be. We need to experience different things. Stress can also be a very positive thing as well.
It's a nice end.
Absolutely. I think on that note, we can bring the session to an end.
Eat, pray, and love.
Eat, pray, and
But
love.
above all, eat.
And
Agree.
she forgot drink though as well. It's lunchtime, so thank you everybody for taking the time out of your day to join us. Thank you for everyone who watches this in retrospect.
Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.